It's going slowly. And we're live.
Talking about it and do something!
I'll suck my big earth with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? Is your friend was?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. In tonight's show, we answer the questions you were afraid to ask, such as, why are all the sick people not being treated in the hospital lobby? And, how can you have catchphrases without a container? And, and would you have been better off watching Fight the Flat Earth instead? All this and more as we spend a couple of hours looking at the best and worst of internet insanity. I am your host, Gem, and joining me as always are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. I'm out of breath. They are Cat, Curved, Verbal, Kosho, Quartus, Lewis. Have I done everyone? I forgot to update the list, and it's very short from last week. Good evening, everyone.
Hey. Good evening.
How's it going?
Good evening. That was pretty good.
We still got the sound of the first video rolling in there, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
I just can't get to it all quick enough, to stop it all and start it all. So how has lockdown been treating you guys this week? Any good?
Yeah, it's been very, very good, actually, because it's been nice and sunny here. It's nice weather. And I'm lucky enough to have a garden, so I can sit in it. So it's not bad. I'm not going to complain.
Awesome.
It's been good for me. We talked about it a little bit before we went live, but I've been able to cut my own hair.
It's impressive.
So, that is impressive. I'm a total shaggy dog story myself, so I won't be going on camera.
Well, it's just
not like I always do,
Yeah.
Well, Lewis, I'd like to thank you for inspiring me to not cut my own hair.
Oh yeah, is it that bad? Okay, all right.
I cut my hair.
He's just jealous, Lewis. Don't worry about him.
Okay. Well, I wasn't worried. What does your hair look like, Kat? Oh wait, that's right. You're bald. Yeah.
I don't have any hair.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to cut.
I thought maybe we should take a look, but no.
Yeah. The hairdressing problem not been a thing for you then. Not been.
Well, no, I've run out of razors. I only use a very specific Gillette razor, the one with the yellow ball. I don't like the orange ball or any other ones. Just that one, and none anywhere. So disaster.
Bummer.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's kick on with our clips. We've got lots to get through. So, as life under lockdown grinds on, inevitably friction occurs between the governors and the governed. Take a look at a few examples of the UK police pissing off the citizenry.
There's a car driving.
So I'm here on the Blackpool Promenade. I've been exercising with my 3-year-old daughter. She was playing in the sand and I was exercising and I was stopped by the police. They said I have to go home and we cannot exercise outside.
So we will not at this stage be setting up roadblocks. We will not at this stage be starting to marshal supermarkets and checking the items in baskets and trolleys to see whether it's a legitimate, necessary item. But again, be under no illusion. If people do not heed the warnings and the pleas that I'm making today, we will start to do that.
So you're saying I'm not allowed on my front garden?
You cannot come on your front garden.
Did everyone hear that?
Yes.
Not allowed.
I'm recording.
Can you step back a little bit, please?
Come on your front garden. Can I just say, you do not want your children.
Yeah, but I'm
to
only
get
on my garden.
The virus does not stop on your. A thousand people died yesterday. 1,000 people.
Right, so what I'm going to ask is, would you be willing to go home?
I am willing to go home once the sun sets, yes.
Okay, well, you've been sat here for about an hour or so.
I have, yeah, indeed. Exercising mentally.
All right, so that's a bit too long for my liking.
Well, that's not to my liking. I like, you know.
So what I'm going to point out is that you are out in breach of regulations.
Not really, no. I'm out in
right.
total compliance with regulations. I'm out exercising once a day, exercising mentally. That's what the regulations say.
So if you don't move on, I'm going to have to take action. That action will come if you issue a fixed penalty notice.
I'm sorry, but I won't accept a fixed penalty notice.
Okay. Will you not accept a fixed penalty notice?
You can place me under arrest and take me to the station.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. First of all...
No, don't touch me.
Right, listen.
Don't touch me. Get away. Get away.
Right.
I'm telling you now. Social distancing.
This is not your exercise. You put that away.
It's my exercise. You don't tell me what to do. You do not tell me what to do. Right? I got on my exercise. Goodbye.
Are you going to move? I've got you on video. Are you going to move? This is not exercise. Are you going
I'm exercising now. I'm an independent journalist gathering content for the story. I am definitely allowed to be
here.
here.
Can I have some ID, please?
Got no rights to ID.
Can I have some ID, please?
Mate, you're overstepping your bounds.
Are you walking around or not? Are you on exercise?
Yeah, I am.
You know, this is not constituted exercise.
This is harassment.
Okay.
Get away from me.
Okay.
Keep your distance. Keep your distance.
You come here. Right, listen.
Get your hands off me.
Right, you are locked up.
What for?
Breach of COVID-19 legislation.
I don't think so.
What are you doing in my house? What are you doing in my house?
I have just explained to you.
What are you doing in my house?
I've just explained to you why we're here. We've had a call, there's a disturbance, that's why we're here.
What, so you kicked me door in?
Should you have opened the door?
No.
I would have explained that to you.
No, I told you why I wouldn't open the door is because of what is going round this virus now. Fuck off and get out of here.
Once I'm satisfied...
Look at you. You might have it. Fucking do it.
Once I'm satisfied, everything's alright.
Go away. Come on. Get in here, dickhead. Go on, have a look.
We're just checking.
Have a look, dickhead.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. No going on in here, is there? So what you been putting me door through for then?
We told you.
Fucking do one.
Oh,
they're a lovely bunch, aren't they? Our boys in blue.
Oh man, I'm
doing
my mental gymnastics.
She's actually a flat earther. I found out today. I didn't realize
really?
That. Yeah, she's called.
Oh wow.
She's called Cheeky Effie Kerry.
Well, she's on the right there.
Yeah, well, I thought so. I think. I mean, I guess to provide some balance here, what I will say is this: that I couldn't find that many of these instances, but I did find some instances, and I think it's true to say that there would be a lot more that haven't made it onto video or onto YouTube or whatever.
Only the most aggy people video it and put it straight onto.
Right.
You know what I mean, they're used to doing that already, filming. I think it's a bit of two things, isn't it? Because there is some of these people are just confrontational, and the police also overstep their bounds like ridiculously. So
that's right. I agree. I think there's a 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, and I think citizens are getting used to the new laws, but I think the police are too. I don't want to sound like a fan of the police, because normally I'm not. Normally I'm not. But I do think that, this is going to take, inevitably going to take some getting used to from both sides of the legal fence, sort of thing.
But the thing is, if some, like, not the lady on the bench so much, that seemed a bit over the top, but the guy wouldn't let them in the house. Well, they're still the police. They still have a right to investigate a report, of something they've got.
Right.
In any other time, you've got to open your door and let the police in to check. They've still got to be doing, those sort of things. So I found that was a bit confrontational.
There was another very odd one I didn't include, which was a guy who had, I think maybe I talked about this last week, but he had reported that some mosques were staying open to the police. And he made his report to the police based on reports that were in his local paper. And he said in his report that he was going to go down and get evidence of this. And so the police came to see him and said that if he went and got evidence, then that wouldn't be an essential journey and he'd be breaking the law.
Well, I think someone made a good point that I thought journalists were excluded from a lot of these things. So, if you're doing journalism, you should be allowed out to report stuff. I think it's really important. I think, is it later on you've got one where a guy's just trying to record what he sees as being a bit unfair, and the police totally hammer in on him, don't they?
I don't know.
I think that's it, mate. I've been watching so many of these things. I don't know whether it's.
I know. There is a lot of it about, or a fair bit of it about, I should say. But I don't know. I'm just hoping it's not going to last too much longer, and then it won't be an issue anymore. But because I don't think people are going to put up with this very long, quite frankly. Is my thoughts.
There's a lot of protests already happening in the States, and I think they're going to become more frequent if this thing gets extended.
Right.
The irony is, of course, that the more they protest, they may increase the duration of the quarantine, which is counterintuitive.
Yeah, I know. Well, and then the longer the quarantine goes on, the more the economy is hurt, and you'll reach a point where it hurts more to stay shut down than it does to try and mitigate. So
right,
it's going to be an interesting battle. Yeah,
I agree.
I think another point to be made, which is really annoying. I don't know if you've seen, especially in London, they had the big NHS and the police all were doing that big clap thing, and they're all outside this hospital gathered. I mean, there was no social distancing going on there at all amongst a bunch of hospital workers and police who were all out. And I mean, even the useless mayor of London, complained about that. It was just, it's a bit hard to see that going on and be promoted, the police and all this being done. And then you get told you can't walk in the park a mile away from anyone else.
Right.
That's true. Same thing was happening in New York City.
That's a good little segue into the next very short clip, actually, and we can sort of continue this conversation after this. So here is another quick example of the boys in blue behaving badly, this time from the USA. Oops.
Hey, up the friendly with the cherry cheeks. Oh, I ain't worried about that shit. Y'all get that shit. Black people don't. So you can cough your white ass back where you live at. Fuck out of here. Fuck wrong with him. Tell them niggas don't get that shit. They the ones get that shit. Fuck out of here. Fuck. You need an extra leg skin. Fuck out of here. Tell them don't come here with that shit. Come here coughing like that shit cute. I should call the CDC on his ass and let him know he just did some dirty ass shit like that. Fuck wrong with him. He gonna walk past coughing and shit. Stupid bitch. You ain't gonna infect nobody but your co-workers. Fuck out of here.
I'm not sure what language she was speaking.
Jem, can you say those words, the N word and the F word, and still get monetized?
We aren't monetized anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, I just thought, I mean, another example of kind of what we're talking about where, you know, those official people aren't complying with the regulations. A very extreme case, I think, here.
Right. And like, I mean, I know this isn't America, and I think there was a segment last week where it was somebody in the UK got arrested or something because he coughed in public and said he had coronavirus.
Right.
And then here, this police officer's basically just doing the same thing. I mean, he's doing it as a joke. It's obvious it's a joke, but it's interesting how they feel at liberty to do that. Whereas if they saw somebody else doing that, they would not find it funny at all.
Yeah, I mean, when do the police ever make jokes? That's not part of policing, is it?
No.
They're famous for having no sense of humor here. So, any other thoughts on the coughing cop?
Well, he shouldn't be coughing because he might actually have corona. he doesn't know. Do you know what I mean? It might be a joke, but I still, you know, I'm very skeptical of the whole thing, but I take all the precautions I can because, you know, I think, you know, joke or not. I mean, they must have been winding him up, something chronic, but still, you know, let's just feel for the fire.
Ideally, you'd want people like your police officers being examples. If you're going to cough in your elbow, keep the 6 feet away, do the things that we're asking everyone to do.
Right.
And that you're supposed to be enforcing.
Yeah, you're being paid to be better, so you should be.
I bet that was the back half of an interaction, though. Like they just started recording at that point.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's because you always have to wonder what prompted the person to start recording, don't you? You know what I mean? There has to be a reason why she felt that was worth getting on camera. But then he did seem to be a distance away at first, didn't he? And you saw him sort of stroll up, so.
Yeah. Also, why did he walk through there? Because it didn't seem like he was going anywhere. So there was some sort of tension between the groups there.
I think that sort of went a bit viral, and so there was an investigation launched. I don't know what the outcome of that was, but I think he was going to face some sort of disciplinary action as a result of that, you would think.
I think
some sort of slap on the wrist.
Yeah, a bollocking, no doubt, you know. So, all right, well, we'll move on. Again, in this vein, as you've been saying, of course, many people are not happy with all this government control, least of all our flat earth friends. 3 weeks of wholemeal pasta in toilet paper sauce has gotten to them. And in the dark slums and back alleys of the internet, there are whispered plots. Yes, the flatties are revolting. Here is Flat Earth DJ Mark Devlin to tell us more.
Video. I hadn't planned to make this, but I've got to do it right now while this anger is in me, because I'm fucking fired up right now. I've had to come out to the car to do this video because I don't want the kids to hear it in the house. We're confined in another groundhog fucking quarantine day under house arrest yet again for who knows how much longer, and people are just putting up with it. Another thing people are just putting up with is all these ridiculous restrictions that are in place in the stores. I've just had the unfortunate experience of having to go into the town centre for a couple of items that I needed, and it is a fucking madhouse down there. People are queuing outside all the shops, standing in line like meek, obedient slaves. Nobody's thinking to question it. Everyone's just obeying. You've got the gatekeepers that they're putting on the doors of all these stores telling you how many people can go in, where you've got to stand, how much distance you've got to leave from the next person. Half the people in the queue are wearing these stupid fucking face masks anyway. Like that's going to protect them from anything. And just look at what our lives have become. Your government doesn't care about you. They're there to control you. They, in turn, are controlled by higher powers that want to enslave, surveil, monitor, control, and dominate the entire human population. When are people going to wake up to this fact? There is enough evidence around now to prove that this is the case if people would only apply their free will to go and do this research for themselves. I'm not happy about this, and I seem to be in a minority because most people that I meet are just putting up with it, just going along with it. For as long as you cooperate with madness such as this, don't expect it to change, don't expect it to get lifted. We're being conditioned and entrained to accept this as the new normal, and I'm not happy about it, and I'm not putting up with it. I'm not happy with living this way. I've got too much self-respect, too much dignity, and too much intelligence to put up with this shit. Damn right I'm fired up right now. Damn right I'm mad about it. And other people should be mad about it as well. Why is it only a small minority that are showing any concern about our freedoms being taken away from us? And this madness, this insanity that we're being required to live in. There is no COVID-19 coronavirus that's going to kill you if you get 1.9 meters away from the next person in the store. A shitty, stupid mask over your face is not going to protect you because this virus is not what we're told it is. You cannot catch it from person to person. Listen to what medical professionals are telling you about this. Listen to what Andrew Kaufman this last week has been discussing in his interviews. Look it up. Get some alternative information. Don't just believe what liars, paedophiles and Satanists at the BBC and in government are telling you, because that's what they are, and they've got a proven track record of lying time and time again. Why would they be telling you the truth about this one? They're not. The COVID-19 situation is a provable lie. It's an excuse to bring in all kinds of draconian, totalitarian measures to fulfill the Agenda 2030 New World Order master plan. You're having your freedoms taken away from you, and most people seem to be just fine with it. They're standing in line, they're complying, they're not asking questions, they're not kicking up a fuss. Why is it always me? Why do I have to be the bad guy? Why is it left to just a small minority of people like me and others to be voicing any kind of objection about this? It's straight fucking insanity, and I'm not having it. Who else is not having it? Who else has had enough? Who else is going to say no? Who else is going to resist? Who else is going to stop complying with this madness? All the morons out there, the COVID-idiots, that don't mind being enslaved, well, that's up to them. But it's not for me. I'm not taking this shit any longer. Who's with me on this?
Flatties rise up.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that he's calling everyone else a sheep, but he isn't prepared to do anything until he's got other people with him on it.
He's shouting from the safety of his car, so his family don't hear it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen a few of these from a few flatties, these sort of videos, where I think, well, what is it that you are doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing that's so rebellious then that isn't what the rest of us are doing? Because at the moment, it seems to me that you haven't got a lot of choice, really. Everything's fucking shut. So even if you want to, not be in your house, there's nowhere to go.
He took me on a bit of a journey, I'll admit, right? Because other than the annoying stuff about like I'm smarter than you, I can see this will come in when a lot of people have been looking into this sort of world thing a lot longer than the flat earthers have. And despite him being wrong, I don't know anything about viruses, but the point of wearing a mask is not to stop catching it, it's to stop spreading it,
right,
in case you've got it. But the thing I do agree with him is there may come a point, if we're not careful, where we do have to, when is the point where we have to say enough's enough? That's the only thing I agreed with him there. I do have some sort of admiration for people who are willing to stand up for their rights. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I included this, because, I'm pissed off by these measures as well. And I think if they were to remain, or if our things are actually been put in place for 2 years, potentially. If, all of that stuff isn't returned to the way it was, then, prior to the virus, then I would have cause for protest. And even maybe, say, in a month's time, if we were still under lockdown, then maybe then I would be considering it, depending on the reasoning behind it. But now, 3-4 weeks in, I think it's silly to be talking like this. You know, they don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't got any good sources of information. That Kaufman bloke he referred to, I watched his interviews. He literally hasn't got a clue what he's talking about by his own admission. He repeatedly says, I don't know. I've only just started looking into this. This other guy says this about it, but I haven't really looked into it. I mean, he's no authority on this subject whatsoever. They haven't got anything to go on apart from what the rest of us have to go on, which is essentially what our governments tell us. And I think you've got to go with what they're telling you, at least for the time being, because you might be wrong. And if you are wrong and you ignore their advice, then you could be endangering other people.
Yeah. That's the thing to think about. Sorry.
Could I speak off or ad lib for a minute?
Yeah, please do.
I think the most comparable thing we have to this epidemic, I don't know how many people were affected by the wildfires like out in California recently here in the U.S., but basically this virus is a wildfire. And the government is saying in order to prevent more damage, even though we know there's going to be damage, these things will maximize the potential to minimize the damage. Please do these things is what they're asking. And these people are saying, I don't want to follow these restrictions. It's too infringing on me, even though it may cost someone or someone I know or some other person their life. And I think that's very selfish. There are a lot of people who don't have choices in this instance. Health workers, police, here in the U.S., our military, our National Guard members are putting themselves out in front of this wildfire, basically. And you're asking that maybe they need to risk more in order that you can go out and do the things you want to do. It seems absurd to me that you'd be willing to put that price on someone else's life.
Well said.
Yep, totally.
And on top of that, I'd like to add, who does this clown think he's fooling? Telling us he's angry. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this subject. And when you're angry, you do not have to tell people you are angry.
Yeah.
I'm really angry. I am so mad right now. Look how angry I am.
I'm very, very angry.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's a good point. I think.
No, yeah. And I think, like, you're right what you said. Like, it's definitely, there is a point where, sure, you should, stand up and do something about it. But I think definitely your ability to see when that point is and not act until that point, and maybe don't overreact too early, I think that makes a bigger difference. Because like you said, at this point, people are protesting for being asked to stay home and, take a month's rent or whatever for free and just stay home. That's what people are being asked to do.
Right.
And they're, protesting it. So I think it's kind of silly.
There's a point in the future where they'll be right to be angry. If there isn't any fallout coming from the virus, if the wildfire's contained and they're still trying to do all these things, I think that's the appropriate time to get angry and get motivated. But that's not the time we're in right now.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
We're just at the start of it. There isn't good evidence that it's all a big conspiracy or that governments are lying in any way. I think there's evidence that the governments generally around the world are blundering a little bit in this, but I think that's the nature of it, the speed of which the challenge has presented itself.
Can I make a funny comment? So I was talking to my mother earlier today, and she said, look at how all the countries with female leaders are doing compared to the ones run by men. And she had a point. They seem to be doing a little bit better.
Interesting. Do you think that might be the sort of mother nurturing instinct at play there?
That's totally possible.
It's Big Mother.
I'm still 50-50 on that. I loved Margaret Thatcher, but Theresa May is terrible. So.
Oh my God!
Well, they're not in charge right now. Come on, Kat.
Yeah, that would trigger some people.
You loved Margaret Thatcher. Oh.
Well, I was very young, so. But I don't think she was that bad. But let's not go to that. But
God, yes, that's perhaps an argument that's had its day. That one. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any way
Kevin.
to briefly sum up, like, what are the female leaders doing differently that we think might be making them more successful, so to speak?
No, there's no way to sum that up. I'm not curved.
Well, are they being more strict, less strict? Are they just being like more loving to the people? What's going on?
Well,
here?
in the case of Merkel, I think what they did was they went for testing very quickly. I think.
Yeah, this was not an argument made with a lot of evidence, Kurt.
I was just wondering if there was a point, like which side, especially like, are they being more strict, or something like that? So that's all.
Not
Just
really. I
wondering.
don't think so. Not in Germany, at least. That's the only other female leader I can think of off the top of my head. There must be some others.
Besides, like the state, governors and stuff here in the U.S. There's a few of them.
Right.
On top of my head, I couldn't tell you which ones are the ones who are being lenient or strict.
So the people might be afforded some level of protection due to like the ovarian essence of the leadership wafting through the countryside.
Sounds scientific.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, that does sound a bit flat earthy. Well done. A new angle to the conspiracy.
Pretty good.
Well, the most recent development I've heard as far as where the conspiracy is headed is that Bill Gates is going to roll out a certificate that you have to get that will certify whether or not you've been vaccinated. And until you get that certificate, your liberties might be suspended.
Oh, Mark of the Beast.
Yeah,
Mark of the
Mark
Beast.
of the Beast. It's
That I suspect that's what we're going to hear a lot about coming from the conspiracy theorists.
Do you think it's interesting that Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft like in January, I think it was, or
Yes.
something? Do you know what I mean? To
No,
work
it's-
on full time on his sort of vaccination stuff.
I mean, have
Yeah,
you
it's
looked
like-
into this? Do you know about this ID 2020 thing?
No.
He's
I don't.
involved in.
Yeah.
This is a project to, well, what does it do, Lewis? Basically, they've got a system, I think, that can be based on a cell phone, but they've also got a system of chipping where they can chip people.
Right. Yeah.
Using a needle made of sugar, I think, that dissolves when they stick it in you. Something like that.
I haven't heard anything about the chipping, but the cell phone thing, yeah, they basically want to give people digital certificates that have their medical information on them.
Right.
And so they can use that to know who's ready to go back out into society, who's a risk, who's not. But the fear, the conspiracy theorists, their fear is that this will be used to abuse power and control people. So,
right. And in China, they've used this to maintain tracking, basically. So if somebody is found, if somebody's confirmed infected, they look at their mobile phone data and then they're able to see what other mobile phones they came into contact with in the past. And then they're able to then contact those people and I think in China force them into isolation of some sort, I think.
I think that was South Korea, wasn't it? Who was like they were being touted as big on. That's how they contained it. But which is more scary because South Korea isn't China. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And we've got that going on here already with Google and Apple already unlocking certain features to allow tracking and stuff. So with no,
it's part of like a much larger ID system to create a digital ID for everybody that's based on biometrics. And so like you'll go and sign up for this thing and give them all your fingerprints, give them other different biometrics. And then that creates a unique ID to you. And that will go with you everywhere. And our interactions are going to become increasingly digital. And now all of a sudden, every decision you make is tracked.
They barely need you to even go. They can do it already from your phone.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
You put your fingerprints on your
eye scanners, everything.
Your face.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Yeah.
It's already done.
This is just a way to get it like universal, basically. Make sure everyone's on the same system. But yeah, you're right. The IDs you have and everything, you already have to do that stuff. The chips in your card and all that shit.
This could turn into a long conversation, so I'll just say this: there are advantages to that system. Like you'll be able to cut down on fraud and all sorts of things in that area of criminality. But anyway,
but that would be true now if, you know, we set up checkpoints everywhere and asked people for their papers, you know.
Like Nazi Germany. They did really well at, like, you know, getting crime lower and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. And that's essentially what this is, isn't it, really? It's just doing it digitally without the offence of having someone there asking you for your papers. But ultimately, they don't have to ask you anymore because they've already got your papers, basically.
Yep.
And I think that is
you see that if you've seen the technology with the 5G as well, it's interesting why, you know, not about the illness, but about why they're so keen to roll it out, is that the amount of cameras they'll be able to have everywhere. They were saying like a future would be you don't even have a phone, you just walk out into the street, you say like Uber, and the camera face recognizes you, charges your account, sends the Uber directly to your just so you know that's the future what they want to see done. That's crazy.
Yeah, because the 5G has higher data transfer, so yeah, they'd be able to do all that.
They can have more connections to one tower, a lot significantly more, so you can have tons of cameras everywhere connected to one tower.
I think I'll make a lot of money selling cat earth masks.
Yeah. Scary though, no, because you instantly get recognised.
You'll have a really big Uber bill as you're paying for all these Ubers from all over the country from people pretending they're you.
Well, the good news is for people like me who comply with the laws and everything, doing everything I'm told, I'll be fine. It's all you criminals out there.
Right.
You'll get a good rank in the Gestapo or the administration. You'll be administrator.
Yes.
But are you happy with that, Liz? You didn't quite say it, but you almost said, well, I've got nothing to hide, which is what I often is the thing I hear often with these arguments that really frightens me when people will they're just prepared to give up everything and they just go, well, I've got nothing to hide, you know. And I think, no,
you might have something to hide one day.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Go ahead, Kesh.
Well, no, I was just saying that usually when people are saying that, they're looking at the environment today and saying, okay, well, according to these laws, I'm fine. But the problem is when you have a system like that and the laws change, and they can at that point, you know, like right now you have restrictions and stuff. They could, you know, restrict it to the nth degree. And at that point, everybody's basically, you have to comply at that point because you're in the system.
Right. I had this argument with a work colleague once who was gay, and he was, well, you know, the police can come in my house and have a look around. I don't care. I've got nothing to hide. And I was like, are you crazy? I mean, it's really not that many years since what you do in bed was completely illegal.
Well, exactly.
Get you chemically castrated. You know, there's no guarantee
that way.
There's no guarantee some government in the future won't feel the same way or public opinion won't change, is there?
Exactly.
You know.
That was in the plot of V for Vendetta, actually. It was like something like this exactly, but then that one character was a lesbian, and that's why they came in and broke them up or whatever.
Lesbian.
Jem, don't let that guy open the door for your house, okay?
Anyway, actually, the flatties are not the only ones who are pissed off. Around the world, the humans of Earth, plugged for my other channel there, are not happy with lockdown measures. Take a look. Oops. That's not Mumbai, India. That's definitely got the wrong title on it.
हमें गांव जाना है, हमें घर भेजा जाए 19 दिन के लिए हम तैयार नहीं है। ये बांद्रा स्टेशन के पास की भीड़ है जहां तादाद में लोग इकट्ठा हो
Zeit einer weltweiten Corona-Pandemie.
Gesundheitssystem bricht zusammen, ich glaube. Ja, moin.
Our governor has just gone way too far. You know, she can't pick and choose. You know, you can't lock us out of one place and then tell us we can go into another place. She's overstepped her boundaries. It's just the American people and the people of Michigan are standing up. We're letting them know what's going on. We aren't going to put up with it. Thank you. Trump all the way.
So Trump brings you out, not
Yes.
governor?
Trump. He's going to win.
Okay, supporters of Trump, as you can see here.
We are the Crowder family. We are against constitutional rights of magnitude being taken from families all across Michigan, freedom, and also right now lawmakers behind everybody's backs are plotting to make their children take COVID testing before they go back to school. And we're really not against these we're against these big corporates that are trying to rack in all these dollars, who created the disease and now want to make people pay for the cure and make our children too take the testing.
That means every one of you, including you, Kyle, are the militia. It's time that you hook up, and this is obviously pretty evident. It's time that you hook up with your local militia, and if you don't have a local militia, form one up.
No paycheck for us! No paycheck for you! No paycheck for us! No paycheck for you!
So why are you out here holding the sign today?
Just trying to protest what's going on and get us back to work. We want to be back to work. It's time. It's past time.
I'm here to speak up for the rights of the American citizens. I believe that our rights are being eroded very quickly by tyrants in the name of public good and public safety. I'd rather be free than safe.
We need our jobs back. So how are you guys doing with the Trump 2020?
Well, we're getting a few thumbs up and getting a few of the other finger.
Governor Brown won't let me go to church. So come get me! Why are you ladies out here holding a sign?
Why? Because we support Trump. Yeah. We support Trump and what he believes in and want everybody to be happy and just want everything to go back to normal.
And I support my president. My president is Donald Trump. He is my president. I love him.
I love him.
That guy in the old doctor mask was kind of weird. I feel like it would be okay with if some of these people stayed locked up for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But it's starting to show that people are they're uneasy about it.
Right.
They're pushing back.
Yeah. They aren't going to put up with it for much longer, are they? You know.
Yeah. A little bit ungrateful for being well.
Yes. Yeah. Verbal, I guess you have a very different perspective on this to a lot of us because you're there on the front line, aren't you? And,
yeah, I mean, I understand why they don't appreciate the scale at which this is hitting the places that would care for them. They want their hospitals to work. Their hospitals can't do both.
Right.
Their hospitals can't continue to serve them and take care of these patients at the same time. So right now they're taking care of the ones that are dying, and it's very tragic that, we don't have better options and we don't have better solutions for them, but they got to have some patience. Doing the things that they're proposing is much less safe. And while they may feel that way, I mean, we're a democracy. It should be, if we're going to do something like this, it should be up to a vote. They shouldn't get their way just because they're crying the loudest or yelling the loudest.
Right.
And it's funny because it is Trump is the president who's doing it. So the sort of complaining. I think again, it's like people are popping off a little bit too early.
Well,
like maybe in a month or two we can start.
I mean, some of those people were, as you saw, they were just supporting Trump, and there were other people there that were like, I think at one of those, I think the Ohio protest, there was a sort of a big group of anti-abortionists there as well. So it was just a sort of odd mishmash of people who. I don't know, didn't really all seem to be protesting the same thing or making the same point,
No.
Yeah. It wasn't like it was some sort of Trump-based rally, even though we saw people talking about Trump. It was, it's just like each of them had maybe got their own agenda,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, that is often the way.
At this point, we're losing the equivalent of people that we lost in one day at the World Trade Center every 2 days. Like, this is not the time to be minimizing the things that are actually preventing more people from dying. And it's very difficult for that to be in their minds when they don't physically see it. If it hasn't affected you or someone you know, it's very easy to be complacent.
Right. It is. And also, I think as well, when you're shut away, you know, I find that I can very much, you know, the first couple of weeks of this, I had the rolling news on all the time. And then I just got so tired of it, I just turned it off. And the last week, I haven't watched anything. And it's very easy for someone like me that spends a lot of time online to just pretend it's not happening. You know, there's no evidence of it in my life once I turn the TV off and start selecting the media I watch, you know, rather than just having it pumped at me. It can just not be happening. And to be frank, that's a nicer feeling than the idea that it is actually happening, which is really scary and horrible and doesn't really have any, you know, doesn't really have a happy ending in sight, you know. So you can kind of understand why people, I guess, want to bury their head, because they don't really have to bury it that far, you know. I think.
One point though, I will say off those banners that caught my eye was, I'd rather be free than safe. I think that is like a good point that we always have to keep in mind, because it's like what we were talking about earlier. We could be maximum safe, but we would be happy. Do you know what I mean? Just wrapped up, balled up in a little.
Right.
Yeah. He's hijacking like an old. I think it's a Benjamin Franklin quote, where it's like those who like demand. Was it or those who demand, or those who prefer.
Those who would give up liberty for safety will deserve neither, and will get neither. Something like that. Very close to that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it backwards, like each time I try to say it. So.
Good job, Lewis. You saved us there.
Well, the one thing I think everybody wants to know is, Lewis, when does beard go green?
When does what?
Your
my beard.
I've noticed. I wondered if this. I asked this yesterday, and no one seemed to know what I was talking about. But I wondered if the green beard was significant of something, because I'd come across a few of them. But,
I think they're just weirdos.
All right. So
soon as the answer curved.
I thought it was maybe symbolic of something. I don't know.
Isn't there an old story? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Curve.
It's easy to take the stance. I'd rather be free than safe, when chances are you're gonna be both.
Right.
You know, this is a situation. It's not true of, you know, the majority of these types of things, I don't think, that go around. But especially this one just seems to be different. There is a big dichotomy, you know, with your outcome, based on some demographics here, and it's not just your safety that we're talking about. And I mean, just to piggyback, it's extremely selfish. I don't know what else to say about it. And I think people could, you know, give up a little bit of time to try to make the best of everything for everyone.
I mean, a hypothetical that I came up with would be, you know, if this was the London Blitz in World War II, and people are told to black out, they've got to make sure there are no lights visible after dark, and it's an arrestable offence not to do that. Imagine if you had people going, "Oh, I'm going to have my lights on. It's my right. You know, I'm going to have my lights on." I mean,
I think the war situations, another good one someone raised earlier was the fire of London as well. Like, a lot of the reason the fire of London was bad is because they didn't take action quick enough to destroy certain streets and stuff. If they just knocked them down, the fire wouldn't spread.
Right.
But they were too slow, and people were. And I think it's a good analogy, because that's where it's gone wrong. And when you see what the cooperation we had in the world wars is what saved a lot of lives, by not being able to see where we were, like you're saying, blacking it out. And I think that's what we've got to look back at. Is this really as bad as getting bombed by the Germans every night?
Right. But is it? But I mean, it could have a similar effect in terms of the loss of life, ultimately.
Right. Like the fire of London. So many people
We
died.
already have some examples from now. I mean, several churches were open for Easter services, and they intentionally ignored the warning signs that had hundreds of members congregate. Some of these churches have already experienced people dying from coronavirus, in less than 2 weeks from Easter, which, I mean, that seems really quick. But who knows how many other people were contaminated by just going to Mass on a Sunday. I mean, that's how serious it is. You can't tell who's spreading it. There's no way for us to track this down because we don't have the testing that's needed to do that. The compromise is to do what we're doing right now until a better solution is available.
All right. Anyway, we've got a bit depressed, haven't we, really? So indulge me for a moment while I do this now regular feature. A great big thank you to everyone who donated to my PayPal so far. I'm without an income at the moment, so any help is very gratefully received. If you can bung us a few quid, please click my PayPal link in the description or support the show through Patreon. And please, please, please subscribe to the channel. I would really like to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and we picked up a few in the last week, thanks to a lot of help from Jose, I must say. Thank you, Jose. So please, if you're not subbed already, please sub, get your friends to sub, get your mum to sub, get everyone to sub, so I can get me 1,000. Thank you very much.
How many do you need, Jem?
We're on, what was it? It's like 781, I think it was, at the start of the show or something like that.
So you need like 200 and something.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, just bung him some money on PayPal. You can just buy him. Done. Come on, guys, let's do it.
Well, it did occur to me to do that, but I thought, because it would only be the last couple of hundred, but then I thought, well, no, I shouldn't really do that.
You'll get there.
It's
You'll
cheating,
get there.
and
I predict you'll be.
And also, I think I might not get monetized if I do that.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Because YouTube spot things like that, don't they? So I suddenly
this was a really good show. I've got a feeling tomorrow you're going to have 1,000 subs.
You never know; it might happen.
Not suspicious.
We're losing concurrent viewers as we speak.
Okay.
But someone just subscribed. Thank you very much, whoever just subscribed. Anyway, got that out of the way. So, what have we got next? Oh, yes, something perhaps a little less depressing. Many people these days are using the internet to meet and work. This doesn't always go according to plan. Here are a few examples.
La parte de CISAL ya quedó, ya solamente tenemos que registrar autonomía curricular y el área socioemocional de los niños, porque esa parte está quedando bien. Perdón.
They're shenanigans, so today's my Gonzaga day. That's how it's gonna be. Let's make sure everybody has clothes on. Come on, guys.
Clint, no, your video is on.
And I thought it was a good example of how we teach our course. There's another circle there again. Is someone else doing that? Okay, never mind. We'll just ignore it.
Years or whatever. I think it really depends on just like the ethical standards of the profession. And in reality, I've heard that social work kind of has very high standards and like good standards in terms of things, and that oftentimes people of other professions don't have. Yeah.
Hold on.
What happened?
I saw nothing. Oh my God.
Poor Jennifer.
I gotta go.
Okay. Is it finished?
I
it's
think so,
finished.
yeah. There's a big delay built up.
Those were some good ones you found there. That was pretty good. The guy totally naked. Come on.
Was he totally naked?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, he was just flashing his blurry.
Kosher doesn't know what naked men look like, okay?
It was blurry for me, man. All right.
It wasn't a great image, was it? Yeah. I like the one where, the Jennifer one where she gets on the toilet. I thought that was epic.
He was very coy about it too. Wasn't making a lot of noise.
Holy shit, muted. I think it's funny though, because I'm quite paranoid. I know where all my cameras are. I'm always quite conscious if there's a camera. Do you know what I mean? I've got mine all blocked on my laptop and stuff.
Oh no, I haven't.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm aware that if I'm near my phone, it can film me and it's hearing me. Yeah, I don't know.
I have been known to scratch my bollocks in front of my webcam. So not while recording, but who knows who was monitoring me at the time.
There's a very famous game streamer, he does streaming, called Darkside Phil, who relieved himself in the pleasurable sense on camera. He thought he turned it off and streamed. No. It's just you should look it up. It is quite. You don't see anything. You just see his face. But as he comes back on, he's like, "Oh, the camera's on." Okay.
See, that only needs to happen once.
Yeah. Oh, it made him. Well, he was already famous. Funniest thing is everyone hated this guy already, and then he did this, so it was quite classic. But watch where your cameras are. That's the lesson to learn. Think about it.
Yeah, you have to be careful when you're doing this stuff. I shared my bank details in a Hangout once, which probably wasn't a good
Really?
idea. Yeah.
What Hangout was this?
Yeah, I don't think it's still up, actually, thankfully. It would have been when the debate channel was on.
Yeah, what date roughly?
I haven't got a clue. Well, the videos aren't up anymore anyway, are they? So I think I'm safe.
Never mind.
I want to edit this out.
You want to get some of Jem's debt onto you, Kat? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'll come pay.
You can have some of my debt if you want.
Yeah, it was the paying in details. So I think you could probably only use it to send me money. Although you don't really want other people knowing even that stuff, do you? Not and all the other stuff about you. All right. Well, shall we have another clip?
Yes.
Okay, as the Flatardia and conspiratard communities have all become medical experts, I think there is value in discovering the source of their rivers of bullshit. So continuing on from last week's collection, here are some more thoroughly unconvincing fuckwits who think that a global pandemic is a good business opportunity. As last week's similar clip was taken down, I've added a small and inconspicuous graphic to indicate that I am not promoting this silliness. Let's take a look.
First and foremost, something you should know, you cannot catch a virus. And just so you don't think I'm sitting here making stuff up, I'll quickly tell you my background so you know how and why I'm telling you these things. I was one of those kids that could read and write before I even started school. I knew my 1 to 12 times table before other kids even knew how to open a book. I won academic scholarships at 2 expensive private schools. I did 6 years of science, which included medicine. I did 6 years of natural health and medicine. And I spent 3 years solely looking into the nature of viruses, bacteria, protozoans, fungus, and parasites. And as a practitioner, I treated myself and a number of other people successfully long term for conditions of the same. And when I did my last IQ and aptitude test, I was taken into a separate room and I was interrogated to see if I cheated.
Hi everybody, I'm Keith Middlebrook, and after studying cell tissue and chemical biology for many years, I've created the cure for COVID-19, the coronavirus. This is it right here, the preloaded injection. Now let me explain what this does here. The host cell that's attacked by the virus makes the spikes release, and then they starve, and then they die within 48 hours. A patient in an LA hospital whom I injected this with that was tested positive for the coronavirus 48 hours and 3 hours later, meaning 51 hours total, the person got up and walked out of the hospital. So this is the cure right here going into mass production. And this is going to save and change the world. Okay? So yes, I have a meeting set up with President Donald Trump. This is going into live play action right now to save the world. Stay tuned, everybody. I'm Keith Middlebrook.
So a lot of people have asked me, what is a flu? Well, a flu is a viral detoxification or a cleansing. A cold, on the other hand, is mostly bacterial. And for the most part, what needs cleaning out of the cells are environmental toxins such as heavy metals, plastics, any kind of environmental industrial pollutants, the chemicals that you use in your home to clean things with, things you put in your body, and so on and so forth. The virus that attacks the lungs will not affect the kidneys. It's because the virus is specific to specific cells in the body. So because a virus is not transmissible within your own body, it should make sense that a virus is not transmissible between people. And it's especially impossible for a virus to make the jump between species. This is why you can't get an avian flu, a swine flu, a bat flu, a monkey flu, or any other flu that affects an animal, except for one way, and we will get to that.
Hey everybody, today is March 21st, 2020. My name is Keith Middlebrook. I've been studying cell tissue and chemical biology for well over 2 decades. I'm beyond qualified. I think omniscient. Anyway, follow me here, because the great just got even better. Not only did I create the cure, but this pill right here is the prevention. Meaning, if I walk into the Staples Center and everyone's testing coronavirus positive, okay, I can't contract it. It's impossible. I take this once in the morning, every morning, and it's time released for 24 hours. I created it. I have what makes you immune to the coronavirus. It's already done. I've already got it. This took 7 weeks. The cure took 6. This took 7. I take one of these every morning and I go unscathed. Now, I just got off the phone with Robert Goldman, who's the physician of sports and health medicine for Donald Trump. I'm going to Mar-a-Lago. Okay, I'm looking to get the executive emergency order to override the FDA for this emergency. So the market of the cure is great, but the prevention is even greater. Because you take this pill once a day, you cannot contract the virus. Everyone else around you can, but you can't.
And while I can't condense more than 10 years of experience into a short video, hopefully that's enough to show you why you cannot catch a virus. And recently I saw a video from a guy who was clearly able to use his own brain. He asked a couple of good questions, and those questions led to the finding of vaccine patents. So what you can do is you can look up these patent numbers right now. First one being US 200-625-7852. And when you look at that, you'll see how long ago coronavirus was patented. The only way that you can catch a virus is by having it injected into your bloodstream. So there's only 2 things that you need to do. 1, don't get a flu shot. Actually, don't get any shot. And 2, don't stay in your house. You got to be outside getting sunlight and fresh air if you want your body to run optimally and not need to undergo a viral detoxification. There is something else you can do actually, and that is to turn off your TV and your social media.
This influenza that is now circling the globe, you're saying that silver solution would be effective.
Well, let's say it hasn't been tested on this strain of the coronavirus, but it's been tested on other strains of the coronavirus and has been able to eliminate it within 12 hours.
Yeah.
Totally eliminate it, kills it, and deactivates it.
Yeah.
And then it boosts your immune system, so then you can support the recovery, because when you kill the virus, then the immune system comes into action to clear it out. So you want a vibrant immune system as well as an ability to deactivate these viruses.
My name is Keith Middlebrook. So now listen, all the idiot fake avatar people online don't respond. You're a coward, you're worthless, you're a parasite, and you're pathetic. You're afraid to attach your face and your identity with your words. That's why you're a fake loser. Don't contact me. I don't want your comments.
Well, I'm the kind of guy, you see, that could run before I could walk. So everything I'm going to tell you next. I love that guy's intro. You just instantly know not to listen to him. He's just so cocky. I've just always been super smart. I'm so clever. Like,
so what did you add to those videos, Jim? How are we supposed to know they're not telling us the truth?
I did say it was inconspicuous, didn't I? I'm just hoping I'm going to be able to successfully upload the clip this week and keep it uploaded, but I don't hold out a lot of hope, even though I've added all that stuff. Yeah,
I think that guy that, he once put his finger in his nose and held himself at arm's length for an hour. He's my favorite guy. He's just amazing.
Keith Middlebrook.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, he was in Iron Man 2 and a few other movies as well. You can look him up on IMDb. He's got quite a few movies.
Key Grip? Like, what was he?
Body double, did it say?
I'm not sure
Hand
what
double.
he was. I said,
Hand model.
Well, I just said he was a bodybuilder as well because he's got a lot of bodybuilding type videos. But yeah. Anyway, he was arrested for that. He was arrested and charged with wire fraud for that.
I'm sure he was going to meet Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago and see his medicine doctor.
I think what he was trying to do really was not sell the drug, although that is ultimately how they caught him. He was trying to get investment for his company. But I don't know how he thought he was going to be able to get away with this. I don't know. And the Aussie guy, the Tom Barnett guy, I thought I'd include him because a lot of the stuff that he's saying about you can't catch a virus, that line I'm hearing a lot from flat earthers. So I just thought it was interesting because I think, with a lot of these people, same with hearing crystal clear, is it? The nurse, the black nurse that was in last week's clips. I heard her thing about, we should all have AIDS. I heard that being parroted on a ranty hangout this week. So you hear these same lines that these guys say, and that's why I think there's value in finding the sources of these lines from the new meme that are being parroted.
Unless Ranty saw it on this show and then parroted it to everyone.
Well, it wasn't Ranty that said it. It was someone, to be fair, it wasn't him that said it. It was someone on his show that said it. But she said all that. We should all have AIDS thing. She was clearly just quoting that
South Park meme.
That what's her name? Hearing Crystal Clear, I think her name is, or something like that. She's been trying to live stream all week. And she just can't do it. And I don't know what YouTube are doing to her, but it doesn't look like the standard technical problems that she's having, It's just, as soon as she goes live, it just buffers constantly. It could be her, but I don't know. So she's got sort of her last 2 or 3 videos are about sort of 10 seconds long, and it's her just sort of looking at the screen and trying to figure out if it's gone live or not, and then it cuts off, So
sounds like a TikTok.
Yeah, so they seem to be sort of, I don't know whether they're trying to shut her down or whether she's just maybe got a crap internet connection or whatever, but she doesn't seem to be able to get live, at least on YouTube.
Hilarious.
They're trying to shut her down.
Maybe.
Wonder how Jamie Brown is doing.
Yeah, but I feel like they could just easily shut her down without hiding behind, Well,
yeah, I mean, they have taken some of her videos down. The first one, the one we played last week, they've taken that down. But the thing is, that Tom Barnett as well, he's been taken down all over the place. But it's a piece of piss to find him. It's... there are other people have mirrored it. It's embedded within other, where people have done a hangout and shown it. I mean, it's all over the place. The Keith Middlebrook, he was a little harder to find, but he was on some news sites that still got the videos up. So that that's where I robbed him from.
Man, that guy, he has it packaged in the syringe. It's ready to go. It'll arrive on your doorstep that way, and you're just gonna pull it out and bam.
I like the way he sort of did that sort of, like QVC home shopping thing, where he kept sort of slightly twisting his hand to show the light bouncing off the syringe, And They kind of do that sort of thing on home shopping channels, don't they? They keep
Did
moving
you see
the thing
wound
about.
on his hand?
Yeah,
like a wound on the back of his hand that he kept flipping over.
Hey, don't worry about the side effects. You might start peeling skin off your hand.
Yeah, this is where I tested it on myself. just a small swelling.
Do you think he actually injected somebody in the hospital?
No. No. But he did meet.
I think he talked to Donald Trump, though. That bit was true.
Someone from the FBI arranged to buy some of this stuff off him, though, and went to meet him, and that's when they arrested him.
Okay, all right.
So
they like how they arranged to buy crack. Yeah.
Wow. So they set it up, and they were like, "I hear you have coronavirus cure."
Well, I mean, he was been public with this. He kept saying who he was and what his name was and stuff like that, didn't he? I mean, he was very keen to attach his name to it. So I guess it wasn't too big a job to just go round and round him up.
He was asking to show their faces.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a huge guy.
All right, shall we have another one?
Yeah, go on in.
All right, it's a quickie. As you know, the flatties have been getting all upset about 5G installations. Last week, Ranty uploaded a video of a new 5G tower that had sprung up overnight near him, but took the video down when someone pointed out the same tower could be seen on Google Earth 2 years ago. It seems that Ranty isn't the only one who is desperate to report a new 5G installation. Here is Global Tour flatty Sven P to tell us more.
Sunny Bournemouth. It's just gone 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I've just come out my house. There's the pedestrian precinct. If you take a little walk down here, you'll notice that Scottish and Southern electricity networks powering our community, that's what it's got on the side of the van, are here doing whatever they're doing. These chaps are, of course, exercising social distancing beautifully. But we won't go about that. Hello, mate, you right? Yeah, good. What are you installing?
We're not, mate. They've got a cable fault in there, mate.
You've got a cable fault?
Yeah, these boys cables, so we've got damage on it, mate, so we've got to get back on.
Is that it, is it? Yeah? And what about all the other roadworks that are around here?
Nothing to do with us, mate.
Nothing to do?
That's nothing to do with
you with Scottish Southern, are you?
Yeah, we're Scottish Southern.
Okay, and the other guys aren't Scottish Southern, no?
No, they're not, mate.
Okay. Nice one. Thank you. How you doing, boys? You right? How long are you planning on building here? Or doing whatever you're doing? Short as far as possible. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Nice one, fellas. Thank you. There you have it. They had nothing to do with the ones on the other side of the street. Okay. Now, this here, because they've cut a cable, they're doing all this? I don't think so. Make up your own minds on this one. But I smell bullshit. Massively. And guess what? That must be one hell of a cut in the cable because it goes round the back of this building as well. What, this is all because of one cable being cut? You tell me whether that makes sense to you. So, there we go. And they were looking a bit nervous when I was asking them, look at this, you're doing all this because one cable's cut? Really? I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm afraid that to me doesn't add up at all. And then we continue to look at this here. I mean, that is if that's fixing a cut cable, then I'm afraid I may as well just run to the nearest cliff in Bournemouth, which ain't far away, and just jump off it. I mean, that's so blatantly obvious what's going on here. Look at that here.
Ah.
Yes, well, I know. I'm sorry. It promised so much and delivered so little, didn't it, that clip?
Well, no, it was a great clip. I'm not, He must smell bullshit everywhere he goes.
Right. They're absolutely desperate, aren't they, for there to be stuff going on. And now it's any old roadworks are part of the conspiracy. And he said the guy, they looked a bit nervous, but so the roadwork guys are in on it, are they? They're in on the conspiracy. That's why they look nervous when they're asked about what they're doing. Yeah, so I just thought it was a bit, or somewhat deluded,
It's like, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist.
Oh,
no,
no.
you don't. You love it.
Oh, no. That's what I thought. You absolutely love it, don't you?
I mean, I can see his point in a way. Like, that's a lot of cabling or whatever, but you wouldn't think about it in any other time of, this time last year. You just see a load of cables. That's quite a normal thing to see.
And you can't draw conclusions over things like that. We don't know how much of the cable was damaged. Did they determine that the cable was, old and degraded, and a length of it needed to be replaced? Did they find the fault straight away, or did they have to dig up a load of the road to find it? I mean, we just don't know, do we? So we haven't got the information to draw the conclusions he was drawing, I think.
Or they could have just been installing 5G and they've just been told don't tell anyone because there's going to be a load of nuts asking you.
Yeah. Well, it didn't seem to be, did it? I mean, it appeared to be underground cables, So I don't think there's a good reason to think that is 5G when it's being buried underground. That would seem counterproductive to any sort of radio signals. I don't think they work too well when you bury them.
Yeah, I don't think they work at all. Yeah, I think maybe they're just hiding them down there, and then when you least expect it, then they're gonna pull it out from the ground where they've hidden all of them.
6G.
But yeah, I think they barely. They don't work. Yeah, they don't even work past walls. I don't think some wavelengths. So I don't think putting them underground is gonna do anything.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought that maybe if it could be carrying a signal, you carry them to the posts underground through like the fiber optics, and then you distribute it through the towers. But I don't know. I literally have no idea how it works.
Well, they were from Southern Electric or whatever, so they wouldn't have been doing a 5G installation, would they?
No, I don't see why they would hide it either. It's like they say like everyone's supposed to be in their house right now so they can put up 5G, but it's like wouldn't they just do it out in the open? Like, because it's not illegal to set up telecommunications and stuff. And no, it's not like people are asking them not to do it or something. So
they've been doing it before this pandemic, and so it would seem to me it would be better to just keep doing it in the way that they had been, rather than having a pandemic which apparently has drawn attention to it. And causing all these problems makes no sense at all, I think.
Yep. And it's, I feel like the road crew might not have known fully all the work that needs to get done there, or didn't feel like telling him. So,
right.
The thing is, generally, road workers will tell you what they're doing. I don't know if that's like a law or something, but usually if you ask what's up, they usually are happy to tell you. He did seem quite happy. He was like, no, I'm just doing this. They usually will tell you.
Sven was suspicious because there's a lot of this going on, but I think there is in my city, and I think the council are using the quiet roads opportunity to get this shit out the way that normally causes massive traffic congestion, and they have to, they can only let so much go on at one time because of the else you've got accumulating traffic problems that become a gridlock. So, but at the moment, I think they've just said, right, get on with it. Roads are clear. Just do it, get it out the way. And then when we're all back to work, you're not going to be a pain in the arse with your roadworks. I think there's a bit of that going on, at least. They've authorized a lot of, a lot of stuff that was just in the planning that, people were waiting for consent to do, and they've just said, get on with it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot road crews in my tiny little town. They've been so much more liberal with how and where and when they're setting up. So there's just a whole lot more of that going on.
And thank God, because it's such a pain in the ass a lot of the time. Maybe we'll have a a little blank period where there's not so much of it, you know, where we all get back to work. I hope. Anyone else got anything to say on this?
No, I'm bracing for this. Are we already at the last one?
Yeah, we're all. I know. We've raced through it tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm bracing for this one. This one's gonna make me
It is
mad.
an epic, isn't it?
I thought these two were connected. That's why I thought. I was like, wait, was that shorter than it was? But I guess it's a different guy.
Yes, it's an epic end to our tonight's show. Should we just do it?
Yeah.
Do it. Okay, and in our final clip this evening, we follow the adventures of Flat Earth and 5G activist and braveheart Scotty Storm as he takes action to halt the spread of 5G.
Scotty Storm here. I can only give you the red pill if you want the red pill. And this is the red pill. It's a coronavirus. It's nothing but nonsense worldwide. And the places that did test and turn on 5G, like Wuhan, China, was white people were falling down. White people were just collapsing and dying. That's what those videos were of, radiation sickness. And the so-called symptoms of coronavirus are radiation sickness. So there's no real test for coronavirus. It's all fake, it's all nonsense, you know. And most of it, you know, no one is dying. It's all rubbish, except for like places like Wuhan, because they tested 5G. What the end game is to give us all a universal pay. In order to get that universal pay, you're going to have a microchip. You're going to have to get vaccinated, and it's going to be a social credit system like China. They'll only get real once 5G is worldwide turned on. Right now in England, they've burnt down like 17 towers. Good on them. My respect. We need to start fighting back very, very soon. For our kids, for our families, for our future, okay? Scotty Storm here. We're at the emergency hospital. And we're going to have a suss out what's going on here. If there's any victims of the coronavirus. Is there any coronavirus outbreaks in the hospital around here?
Yeah, lots everywhere. What's going on?
Has there any patients here?
No, who are you? I can't say.
You can't say.
No, what's been going on? What's going on?
How's the government training even going on this fake coronavirus? Is it going well, the training? They're trying to scare people with, and they're trying to take all our rights, where they're going to force vaccines and poison, and they're going to microchip us.
Right. Do you need to see a doctor today?
I don't think anyone needs to see a doctor with this fake
Okay,
coronavirus.
so I think you need to leave then if you don't need to see a doctor.
I think if you have kids, I think you should really reconsider the lies you're talking
I think you need to leave.
I think you're being documented for crimes against humanity, and you're going to be on internet, and this is what you're doing to your kids. This is 1984 Orwellian society is what you're doing to your kids. You are lying to people. You are lying and you're committing crimes. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so-called a coronavirus outbreak, and what these police officers don't realise is 5G has been elected all over the Wyndham City, and there's been zero government tests for safety whatsoever. There's been 26,000 independent studies worldwide saying 5G is a carcinogen to human life, and they're trying to blame it on some bullshit coronavirus to take away all our rights. They're going to force vaccinate us with poison, and they're going to fucking chip us, and this is what you're going to do to your kids with this fake coronavirus bullshit, and you're going to do nothing about it. You're going to do nothing. This fake coronavirus is nothing but a scam, and you need to fucking know about it. This is a worldwide training drill that you're trying to act as if it's real. Stop scaring the people. You will be punished for your crimes against humanity. I went to the police station now. I didn't have any camera with me. I told the police officer that 5G has never been safely tested by any government officials whatsoever in any country, and they're banned in a few countries now. And I told him that it's been 26,000 independent studies by real scientists about 5G radiation, that it's a carcinogen to human life, and he wants to say he's doing nothing about 5G radiation. That is correct. You're not doing nothing about all the studies that's confirmed that your kids and your family are going to get sick by 5G radiation. Exactly. And before he admitted that he's not going to do nothing about it, didn't you? You're doing nothing about the 5G radiation, the kill grid, the control grid that's all around us. Nothing about it, are you?
Well, do you want to make a report about it, do you?
Yes, I do. I'm making a report right now. What do you think I'm here?
Okay,
I'm making a report for you and your family.
Okay.
For your family, my families, for our kids, for our futures, I'm making a report. Do you realise how serious this is? This is no conspiracy, mate. This is reality. And you've admitted you're going to do nothing about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 5G radiation, 26,000 studies, it's a carcinogen, 0 government studies. What is the average IQ of a police officer? Like a 0? 0?
It's very rude.
Well, I'm rude. You're the one who's going to do nothing about the 5G radiation.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I've just met you.
You just bull fucking shit. See, now he's lying. Now he's fucking lying. I came in here without my phone, and then I came in, and now he's fucking bullshitting his ass off. I'm reporting your crimes against humanity. This is going to go fucking internet. I've got a big YouTube channel, mate. You're fucked, cunt. Got a few souvenirs. This area is temporarily closed to the public. The limit of the spread of the bullshit, and in line with criminals, we ask that the foreseeable future you do not use this space. No thanks, not today, evil. Not today, Satan. No, a few souvenirs, please. No, dog best clothing for us. No, it's not. Alright? This is tyranny, okay? And any police officers or government officials see this, I'm fighting for you, your family, your grandkids, your kids, and everyone you fucking love's futures. Not just the people's. I'm fighting for your futures when you're the one who's enforcing this, when you're the criminals, state police. I am fighting for your family's future, and you need to fucking understand that. At least if all this shit goes down, and we're fucked with 1984 one day, at least I can say, I tried. And at least I can look at every other cunt who calls us crazy conspiracy theorists. What did you do to fight for your future? What did you do? You did nothing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This tyranny, I will not fucking stand for. We've got some more tyranny going on at the dog park. No, thank you. Not happening on my watch. Not happening on my fucking watch. If they're going to give out free souvenirs, they're going to give out free shit, some free merchandising from the council. I'll fucking take it with me. Beautiful. Had a fucking good day today. Fucking literally got all this shit all over our kids' parks. Bullshit. Look at this shit. Look at this fucking absolute shit. Say no to tyranny before it's too late. Alright? I can't be the only cunt who's gonna fucking do this. Get some fucking balls for your kids' futures. Get some balls for your family's futures, alright? This is complete fucking nonsense. Alright? Wake up, stand up now. I've got some police here ready to fucking kidnap me.
Don't do this.
To fight for their kids and their children's rights.
Oh, you're not fighting for your life, are you? Because it's
No, I am, Dad, and you're not. Dad, you've sat there and you've bent over and you've took it in the ass all your life, Dad. You have bent over and took it in your ass all your life, Dad. It's about time we start fighting for our fucking freedom, Dad. No, it's about time we start fighting for our freedom. It's about time we start fighting for our freedom, Dad. Because soon enough, it's going to be gone in 6 months to a year. All our freedoms are going to be gone, and I'm fighting for their kids. I'm fighting for their family. I'm fighting for their fucking kids and their family, and they have no fucking idea what's coming. They have no idea what's coming. They've already set military weapons up all around us, and they've done nothing about it. 5G is created by the military. It's created by the fucking military.
Listen, do you want an option? Do you want the chance to speak your voice on camera? Because we will.
I've already got this on camera.
No, not that proper recording. We will give you a copy of the recording. It's your chance to tell your side of the story on tape.
That I took signs down because you're trying to impose restrictions on a virus that doesn't exist?
Scott, what are you filming on? Is it a camera?
It's a camera. My phone.
Why don't you want the opportunity to sit in a room on a proper camera?
What you mean? Have the opportunity to get fucking kidnapped by a bunch of criminals?
Scott, we're giving you the opportunity to voice your opinion in an appropriate manner. We're asking for your opinion. We're asking for your voice. That's what we're trying to do here, and that's what we're here to do. Is ask.
No, you're not. You're here to arrest me for taking things, for helping humanity out. That's what you're here for.
Scott, we're trying to get your side to the story, but all you're doing is yelling at us. You're not talking to us. You're yelling at us.
Well, there's nothing you can tell me that I don't already know. I'll let you know about that.
Okay, but we're here to ask you what we don't know. Tell us your side to the story.
You think I'm that easy manipulated? You don't give a fuck what I've got to say. You don't give a flying fuck what somebody who's trying to fight for your rights of the human beings got to say. You don't give a fuck about that.
Scott, I don't believe you're fighting for my rights at all.
And I don't believe and I don't believe you're here to serve and protect at all. How about that? Like I said, you can manipulate him all you like, but fucking, I wasn't born yesterday.
Open the door. We'll take you back to the station. You can have your say on camera.
And then we'll give you a lift back.
We'll drop you back here.
Yep, that's right.
Promise.
Yeah, go on.
We will bring your dad to the station if you want with
Your
us.
dad can come with you.
Why don't you just bust in then?
Normally we don't do that.
Why don't you just bust in then? Why don't you just bust in then?
We don't
Oh,
want to.
might as
Well,
well,
we don't want to.
might as well get on, might as well get on camera and
That's
film.
not fair on him.
Scotty Storm here. This is the aftermath. What happened at the PlayStation? When I closed the door, I turned my phone off, hid my phone in my room, went with them because criminals are persistent. So, you know, they put all my charges into some bullshit little thing because, you know, they probably thought I was crazy, to be honest. All the red pills I've given them, you know, they wanted me out of there straight away, and you can tell. You know, and unless we win one day, unless we get our freedom back one day, if we try this, we're going to be looked at terrorists. But if we win and become free, we'll be looked at heroes. I'm John Connor from the Terminator series. That's who I am, fighting people's freedoms. I'm William Wallace from Braveheart. That's who I am. I'd rather die for a free man than live or die as a slave. It's about time we start doing something, because the sheeple, the police, the conversation I had with them, what they don't know, and it's everything, they're the enemy.
Oh, man.
Yes. I'm going to be heavily criticised for playing that, aren't I?
Well, no.
Oop, sorry.
He's seriously unwell.
Yeah.
You just saw a person who was going through either a manic or a hypomanic episode.
Yeah.
He had almost all the symptoms right there.
Yep.
Well, you know, we've written fictional characters about people like this, and it's not John Connor and William Wallace. It's Don Quixote.
Yep.
He's got a better name than all of them. Scotty Storm is a great name. Like a superhero. I spent a lot of time talking to him like a few years ago. Like, I think he's actually a really nice guy. He's actually really polite. He gets really, like manic, angry. And I used to think he was just on a lot of drugs, and then I thought, nah, he's probably just crazy, because he's always like that.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I think that's why I sort of felt it was okay to use that clip, was because that's how I've always known him to be anyway. He's always like that. But he holds down a job, I believe. He has a very attractive girlfriend who he's very proud of and shows off a lot and posts a picture a lot. So, I don't know. I mean, how nuts is he? Verbal says pretty nuts. So I'm going to go with what Verbal says.
I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy. I mean, he's got some really annoying quirks and cadence, but, you know, he's not a bad-looking guy, so.
Slide into his DMs, Lewis.
Yeah. Right in there.
Offer to cut his hair, maybe, you know?
Yeah. He'll need one after all this, yeah.
I feel bad for that guy's dad. Evidently, he's been taking it up the bum his entire life.
Oh yeah, I also feel bad for similar reasons. Not exactly that one, but yeah, he seems like he's trying to do the right thing and stuff. It's probably hard dealing with somebody like that.
Well, he's probably used to it. Scotty, if you spend any time, he's like that all the time, but he's not completely unreasonable.
Yeah,
like, he's not one of these people you could just say, like, "I've had enough, Scotty." Just like
the police aren't always at his door though, so his father kind of had to come out.
Right. Yeah. As I'm saying, like in that moment, he's like, "I wish you wouldn't be like this right now, because this is the worst time. You know, I wish you were not this way." And he can't do anything about it.
Was that Australia? Who are those police?
Okay. Yeah, Australia. They were really nice. I've actually seen a lot of these interactions where the police they're nicer than they would be in America.
Right. Yeah. They were so laid back, weren't they? I mean, the guy behind in the police station as well, you know, he goes, what's the IQ of a police officer? 0? He goes, that's very rude. You know, wasn't bothered in any way, was he? You know? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there is a distinct lack of flat earth content, though. they're almost all sort of converted to, virus-based content. It's hard to find them talking about flat Earth. Unless I resort to the thing I will never resort to, which is putting Oakley and that lot on here. So, yeah, I mean, they're the only ones, really, I think, that are really flat earthing at the moment. Everyone else is 5Ging and looking, going into hospitals to see why they're not busy.
It's the hot new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even that seems to be going out of fashion now. I think they saw what a pounding Flat Earth Fokker took, and I think other people maybe thought better of it, although not Scotty Storm, evidently. But because Fokker took a right battering in social media for his actions, his hospital visits.
I thought it was just slightly charming where Scotty is showing his trunk and he's like, quite a good day today.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Was anybody else waiting for some other Aussie to pop up and say, those aren't scissors?
Poor lad. Well, hopefully he'll get over it. I guess this 5G thing will go away eventually when we're all using it, and
yeah,
nobody's immune system is obviously compromised or whatever they claim is happening.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll because they're always making ridiculous claims about health and medicine and stuff. So, yeah, I wonder where this will evolve towards.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that sort of one of the fashions seems to be to drag up, terrain theory and Béchamp and these very old ideas about medicine and infections and things that are long since abandoned, and now it's the standard narrative of, oh, well, somebody just decided in germ theory years ago and it's just a theory, and the usual thing,
I don't know about those theories, but
yeah,
sure do. I guess I'll be hearing about it.
The general idea that you're not infected, that your body is
you're excreting.
Your body becomes compromised. Your immune system becomes compromised by a bad diet or a bad environment, and as a result of this, then you in order to detoxify, you develop a virus, but it comes from within your body as a result of these environmental things.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I saw a video of somebody saying, no, these aren't viruses. These are exosomes. They come from the inside of the cell.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's part of... Is that part of terrain theory? You might know, Verbal. Do you...
I mean, that's the terrain theory that Lemon is talking about, which is like a bastardized version of it.
Right. I see. All right, well, shall we wrap it up? We've been going quite a while now. So, yes, I must promise my audience, I will be, scanning the channels to try and find some stuff that is flat earthy. But at the moment, there just isn't a lot to go on. Anyway, with that said, where's my end bit? So join us again next week for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video, or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord has nearly 2,000 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around the same time next week, so until then, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
talking about it and do something!
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? Is your friend?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth